all, this is Aaron here again. Happy New Year to you all. I know it's a little late, but I decided this morning to profile my all-time favorite deck of all time ever. Gravekeepers was one of the first decks that I made when I first started playing, and aside from Fiends, it was one of my first decks, and yeah, I just love it. Just letting you know, this is more of a anti-meta-ish build, so it's not a pure Gravekeeper build. But I'll show you the more pure build after at the very end of the video. So let's get started. Beginning, first three cards, obvious, Gravekeeper Spy. Gotta run 3. Some people say they want to run 2, but this just brings out so many support cards that it's hard to not run at 3. I mean, like, maybe you could run it at 2 if you're not doing a pure Gravekeeper, but if you're doing more of a GK build, I would highly recommend 3. Also, it's very susceptible to no meta crossout if people side that against you. I remember back then it was sided against a lot of flip effect monsters, so having protection for Spy is good too. Next 3 recruiters. I mean, it would seem kind of obvious that you should run 3, but I've seen some deck profiles, people running 2 of them. I've been actually kind of testing Mystic Tomato with it too, because I remember back then also people we used to run Mystic Tomato, and then they comboed into Gravekeeper Spearman or Gravekeeper Soldier as the English translation is. Or they ram it into Mystic Tomato into a monster, and then they bring out Silent or Gravekeeper's Assassin, literal Japanese translation, and then they just like blow up their opponent's monsters with the assassin. But anyways, yeah. Since it's more anti-meta build, I have 2 Gravekeepers Commandants. Love the ultra rare look on this, by the way. It's really nice, I think. So yeah, just 2 of them, because the focus isn't it. Well, part of the focus is to bring out Necro Valley, but in case that you don't have your Gravekeeper plays, you can play something else aside from just focusing on Necro Valley. That's why I only run 2 Commandants. Plus, if I run 3, sometimes I tried it on DevPro. It tends to get a little bit cloggy. I know some people would really prefer to have 3, but I just run it at 2 for this build. Again, at the very end of this deck profile, I can show you the cards that I tech out of the anti-meta build to build a more pure build. So, one Descendant. Again, some people run 2. For some reason, I don't like the Descendant combo, because it can get stopped really easily. So I'd rather just play 1 monster and attack. I'm more old school like that. So, I mean, I love combos once in a while, but it's just funny to lock them down. I prefer lockdown over combos, and I don't want to see 2 of these. I don't want to top deck into this, because this is a horrible top deck to get into. That's why I just run 1, just combo once in a while. 2 of Silence. You can see that my build is kind of different from other people. My ratios are pretty different. Like 2 Commandants, 1 or Commandant, whatever you want to call it, 1 Descendant, 2 of Silence. I always love calling this Assassin because it sounds cooler, and the literal Japanese translation of this card is Gravekeeper's Assassin. I went to Frankenstein down in LA. I live around there, and I was looking for Gravekeeper's Assassin, and they kind of look at me funny, because the vendors, they don't know Assassin, they know Silent. So like so another translation of it, but the literal translation is Assassin. So I love this card. I think it's a girl, female. Just love killing stuff with this. This is like the giant killer. Love this card. That's why I put it at 2. Just my preference. You can run 1 if you want. I see a lot of deck profiles running 1, but I just feel like I need 2 in case it dies, you know. Tech card, Gravekeeper's Heretic. You can probably side this out depending on what kind of deck your opponent runs. If they have run a back row heavy deck or effect negation a lot, it's pretty good. Against other certain decks, not as good, so you might want to side this out for something else. Here's my more anti-meta section of my deck. 2 Fossil Dinos. Some people run 1, some people run none at all. I just like locking them down. This was really good back when Necros was around. Now, maybe not as much. It can probably stop Pendulums quite a good amount, and to some extent Cosmo too. especially if you combo it with the Imperial Iron Wall against Cosmos. But I'll talk about the Magic Trap lineup later. As you can see, I'm more old school, so I call him Magic. Thunder King Rao, enough said. Last monster tech is Neospatian Ground Mole. I know some people hate this card. They think it really sucks. But I just love, since like a lot of these monsters, they don't go over 2,000 or 2,100 attack, and I don't feel like running Malefic Cyber End Dragon. So this is really good for bouncing your opponent's card back into the deck, extra deck or main deck or whatever. It's a pretty fun card to use. So if you want to check it out, you can probably side it out again. Again, this is a more anti-meta, my personal variation of different ratios. So I mean, feel free to run your own, but just letting you know how I play it. 3 Neck Valley, obvious. 3 pots, doesn't special summon much, obvious. 1 Gravekeeper Stell, again, I play a more anti-meta build, so 1 Stell is enough, 2 is too much, because sometimes you draw into like, Thunder King Ryle or Fossil Dine, you don't really need Gravekeeper Stell until like really late in the game. So yeah, early game, it's kind of dead, so. Dark Hole, I got a premium gold version, which is pretty cool, or gold mine version. Yeah, Dark Hole, removal. Sometimes when there's like a lot of big monsters, Gravekeepers kind of have a hard time, so sometimes I even run 2. But I just put 1 because I have a lot of traps. Last spell card, Book of Moon, obvious. If you bring it up to 2 or 3, I would probably play 2, or maybe 3 to test it out at first. So yeah, just only like 8, 9 spells, magics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, trap lineup. I have a heck a lot of traps. I think I have like 15 traps in here. So, 3 Dark Bribe. I love this card. There's a lot of people that don't like this card, but I need this card to protect Gravekeeper Spy, Necro Valley, to protect Fossil Dyna. There's so many cards that work really well with Dark Bribe. You can take out Mystical Space Typhoon, Galaxy Cyclone. If you have Necro Valley on the field, they can't banish their Galaxy Cyclone. If you have Necro Valley on the field, they can't use Breakthrough Skill in the graveyard. So I love Dark Bribe. Yeah, Dark Bribe, good stuff. If you haven't tried Dark Bribe with Gravekeepers, try it out. It's good. I would not run less than 2. Just my opinion. 3 Chains. I know that in the Pendulum era nowadays, Penis Chain isn't as good. Especially, I hear Magic Specters, they can't be targeted, they can't be destroyed. So, if you want to go for even more anti-meta route, I would take out all three Phoenix Chains. I would just put in maybe like 2 anti-spell fragrances and maybe a Solemn Strike. I heard that was Death Pro was Solemn Notice, but I heard it was Solemn Strike in the English translation. So you can take those out, put those in if you want. 1 Tomb. When this first came out, I ran it at 3 on Dev Pro. Back then it was like $20, $25, so I can't. It's a little too much for me, a little bit too expensive for me. But since it went way down in price, I just got 1. At first, I loved it, and then I realized, wow, 3 like really sucks. And then I run 2, and I still really hated it. But as I play tested it more with Gravekeepers, I realized, oh yeah, I'm running too many spell / trap negation / removal. Like I was running like 3 MSTs and then 2 Dark Bribes and then 2 Imperial Tombs, or like 2 MSTs and 3 Imperial Tombs. I realized it was too much, so I took out all the MSTs and then putting 1 in and 3 Dark Bribes, and it worked out pretty well. So if you want to try that out, try it out. It's pretty good. Plus it stops monster effects, spell effects, trap effects. It's almost like Solemn Judgment. Almost. If Solemn Judgment came back, I would totally like take Dark Bribe out and put Solemn Judgment in. Love Solemn Judgments. Absolutely one of my favorite counter traps. I mean, Dark Bribe is pretty good too, but yeah, I love that. Rite of Spirit, again, I only put 1. In my more pure build, I play 2, but right now it's just 1. Because Thunder King doesn't need a Rite of Spirit. Mirror Force, Dimension Prison, I just put 1 of each. Again, this is more of a semi-competitive build against my friends. Not necessarily the current format, though you can probably a couple of cards out for the current format. So I just play these two. Some people don't run it. Some people run something else. So I mean, your choice. I like it. I like Deep Prison. I know it sucks against Magic Specters, but whatever. I like it. And then the typical staple one-ofs: Solemn Warning, Bottomless, Compulse, Vanity's Emptiness. So these four are, I mean, they're always good, especially Vanity's Emptiness nowadays. Solemn Warning, I'm kind of sad Solemn Judgment's still not back, but it probably won't be back for a while. But when it comes back, then I don't know if it ever comes back. Then I'd totally put it in. But Warning's good. It's always been good. Bottomless takes out pendulums like crazy. Compulse, not the best nowadays, but when you're playing against rogue decks, pretty fun. Yeah, you feel free to side out probably Compulse or Bottomless for other stuff too if you want. Might even put in a Torrential if you need. Last card, I'm just messing around, playing around with the deck, Groundhorn of Heaven. I heard this in Dark Bribe is pretty good with Dark Law anti-meta, so I think my next deck profile might be a water deck or anti-meta hero deck. And I might put this back in. I'm going to switch out my Gravekeepers cards and then put in the anti-meta stuff. So yeah, last card, Groundhorn of Heaven, 40 card deck. Extra deck you can put in pretty much any XYZ. I'll just show you my side deck really quick. I put in a Threat of Silence because it's funny. Gravekeeper's Guard, Heretic for more back row hate. World Tribute, just for fun, just troll my opponent. Another Dark Hole, 2 MSTs, 2 Deep Dark Trap Holes. This thing is really good against high level monsters, like a Judgment Dragon or a Grapha or like even I think even Cosmos is pretty good, depending on what monsters they run. So, and then a last Deep Prison because I can, and Magic Mountain card to split my side deck and the main deck in the deck box. So if I run a more pure build, I'll show you. I would put these cards in. So instead of 2 commandants, commandants, I would have 3. I would have a Gravekeeper's Descendant, so 2 of them for the more typical bring out Descendant with Spy, and then summon Recruiter, pop Recruiter with this and blow up a card. So more typical cards would be these 2 monsters. I would add in a second Stell. I would maybe put in Torrential Tribute for some removal against high level, high attack monsters that Gravekeepers tend to have a problem with. And then I'll put a second Rite of Spirits and a Pichu at the end. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my deck profile. Hope I gave you some interesting ideas. Hope you have a great new year, and blessings to all. See ya!